Hey guys, it's Merritt. I don't even know if I'll ever actually show this to you guys, but it's good for me to kind of explain what all is going on. So, my brain functions and knows, everything's going to be okay, but also to kind of share it with other women who are probably going through this. For those of you who have never watched my makeup videos or don't follow me on Facebook or any of that, I'm Merritt. I'm a makeup artist and an esthetician, and I'm also a survivor from having a stroke. November 27th, it'll be 2 years. And after my stroke, it really kind of put into my place that I definitely wanted to go ahead and try to have children. After having that kind of experience, it made me realize that, I'd had a divorce already and it was fun dating, but even though all of that, I was 35, I knew my chances of getting pregnant were going to be shortened. So I contemplated it a lot, and starting about a year ago, I really started making the steps. I first did modern fertility to find out what was going on with my hormones and what happens with my whole body is that my eggs are a little older, which isn't surprising now that I'm 37. That's kind of, I'm older, which I think is ridiculous, but that's just what happens with your body, I guess. Which kind of seems unfair. Guys always have sperm. We're only allotted like a certain amount of eggs for us to produce. But anyways, and for some reason also, one of my hormones is my body really tries to push ovulation and everything, which is great, but it does it a little too fast. So I decided to start doing home insemination. And within the last year, I've had quite a few tries of trying to get pregnant, and nothing has worked. I did have 2 times where it was only like 3 to 10 days where I had a positive test, but would end up getting my period. Which is considered, at least to me, a miscarriage. Anytime that you're given a positive test and you get your period and realize, it didn't work, that's heartbreaking. And it really kind of affected me in a lot of ways, where more rage, praying to God, wondering, what I did wrong. But realizing, if I want to continue on with this, that I needed to take a little break, which I did, where I can do IUI, which for those of you who have never looked into IUI or anything with fertility or anything like that, IUI usually ranges between $450 to $1,500 every single time. That's not including the donor sperm. If you are doing what I'm doing, which is a single mom by choice. So I've recently started. I've done my first consultation, and I did my first ultrasound, which was crazy to see what my follicles are. And we are 21. Each ovary is supposed to have 6 or 8 on each side. When you're 37, it's a bit different. My follicles, I have one that only has 3, and then I have one that is 5. So when you put it in that terms, for a normal 21-year-old, for one ovary, it would be 8, and that's my total. So that was interesting to see. You never really realize your age. When I turned 37, I'm looking forward to 40 because I am. I love the fact that, I am who I am. I'm my age who I am. I don't regret anything in my life. I think you learn from it. For me, the only difference is maybe I would have tried for children earlier. But also, right now there's a big trying to figure out what to do with my body, because my whole stroke was due to having been on, guess it, oh yeah, birth control. With a lot of women in the US, birth control triggers quite a lot of strokes. Do your research and just make sure. The only one that is proven to not have a type of estrogen hormone that cannot affect this is doing the IUD. I believe that is the copper one. That's the only one that doesn't have excess and can't really contribute to having a stroke. I talked with my neurologist about this right after I had my stroke, and she said that too. Always been told I can still have kids though. So now here comes big part. Probably can't do any hormones, because guess what? Since I had my stroke due to hormonal birth control, it's also a sign that it can probably trigger something wrong with my body if I have any type of medication to help trigger me to be able to trigger everything that I need for IUI. Now, I do ovulate correctly. I do ovulation testing. I've been doing that for so long, it's ridiculous. My period is always on time, 3 days exactly, all of that. And I guess now this is part of my process. The next thing that I do is where they are going to go in and see how my uterus is. If all of my tubes are running perfectly, all of that kind of thing. So I'll go in for my HSG testing coming up soon. And for those of you who don't know, which I had read about, did not realize I would be doing it, you go in and they give you I think it's iodine. It's iodine. I think it's something like that. Anyways, it's the stuff that you go in and it always makes you feel like you're going to pee. And they flush that into your system so that way they can go ahead and see how everything's going. So that's my next whole journey. This is, I guess, my diary for the first entry. I have no idea how women deal with this. I mean, this is hard. We are triggered to, want kids, not want kids. Either way, for anyone, it's totally fine. But for some of us who waited, and it might be a little bit later, and who have had issues, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with me. And no, I'm not going to cry. Good grief. I just had my first blood draw, so I'm still a little tender from even taking all of this. So that could be the reason. Or it could be that this is a lot to take in for any woman. If you are married, if you're single, if you're in a partnership and you're going through this and realizing I need help with this. So I'm totally rambling, but this is diary number 1. If you still want to hear some more of me rambling, let me know and I'll keep on doing this. Thanks for everybody.